In this video, we're going to go over the fillet and chamfer tools, which can be used to add details and features to corners of objects. So I have a couple of different corners here just set up, um, just so we can kind of see how the tool works. And we'll start with the chamfer tool, mostly because we're going to use the fillet tool a lot more than chamfer, so that's why I want to just do chamfer first and then really focus on fillet. So the chamfer tool itself is actually located inside the fillet tool for the button. So just like trim and extend, you have to click on that little arrow underneath fillet to be able to get chamfer, or use the keyboard shortcut CHA. So chamfer creates what we call a beveled edge or an angled corner onto it. And there's a few different ways that you can define a chamfer. So once I start the tool, we can see in the command bar that there are a few different options here in these grayed out versions. And really the way we typically define a chamfer is either through distance or through angle. So we'll start doing a distanced one first. And so I'll click on the option for distance. And I just want to say how much I want it to go in on each side. So for the first distance, I made all of these 10 units long. So I'll just do a distance of 3, enter. And then I'll do on the other side, I'll do a distance of 5, enter. Then we'll want to select the lines that we want to chamfer. So I'll say I want to go in here, and it'll create that edge. If I start the tool up again, so I'll use the keyboard shortcut CHA, enter, and I don't change anything to do with the distance, it's going to remember those last distances that I used. So I can click on one line, click on another line, but see how this time it did kind of the opposite. It went 3 in this way and 5 that way. That's just because of the order I click them in. So when you're typing in the first distance and the second distance, it's just asking, okay, then which line are you clicking first? Which line are you clicking on next? So I'll start the chamfer command again, CHA, enter. And this time I'll do a chamfer based on an angle. And I'll say that I want the length of 4, which, whoops, I'm using the wrong ones, and an angle of 30 degrees. Enter. And then again, I can click on my lines and it'll go in 4 units with an angle of 30. So again, if I go back into the command, whether I use the keyboard or the button, if I click in a different order, I'll get a different result. So now it went in 4 vertically with an angle of 30 degrees. So you can define based on a specific angle, or you can define based on distances in either direction. Whatever is the information given in your drawing is how you can apply that. Oftentimes we'll have a chamfer with an angle of 45, which means that it would go evenly on both sides. So if I wanted to do a chamfer with an angle of 45, I could either just type in a distance and then the angle, or I can come to this distance option and then note how it just remembers the last time I used this option, I used 3. So let's do 3 again, but this time I'll just do 3 for the first, and for the second distance I'll do 3 again. Now when I go to apply my chamfer, it'll just be at a 45-degree angle. So I could do that based on angle or based on distance. Doesn't matter really which one you choose, and it's more which one you get more information for. Now, the tool that we tend to use a bit more than chamfer is the fillet tool. So fillet is located up here. Currently it's the chamfer tool, but once I click on that little arrow, I can switch it back into fillet. And the first step of a fillet, just like with chamfer, is we have to define a radius. So a fillet is a curved corner to an object. And so we'll click on radius, and we have to define a radius. So I already had in a previous drawing, before I've closed out AutoCAD, done a fillet, and I gave it a radius of 0.25, which is why it remembers that's the last one I used. But this time I'm going to just give it a radius of 2, enter, and then I can click on my line, click on the other one, and it'll apply that rounded corner. So when I went over the trim tool, one thing I showed you is how you could use the tan radius circle to put a curved corner and then trim it out. This is that same result, it's just a little bit of a faster method. Now, just like with chamfer, if I go back into the fillet tool, this time I'll use the keyboard shortcut F, enter. It's going to remember the last time I did a fillet, I had a radius of 2, so I can just click on the 2 lines and I won't have to define a radius. So you only have to go back in and define radiuses if you are doing a different size. So I'll go back into fillet, F, enter, and I'll define my radius by either clicking on the word radius in the command bar, or I can type R, enter, and now I can give it a radius of 4. Enter. And now when I go click on the 2 lines, now this one will have a radius of 4. Additionally, you may want to do the same size radius multiple times in a drawing. So for instance, I'm just going to draw with the line tool. I'll draw just a little shape here. Nothing to any particular size, because this is just for an example, and I'll hover over this endpoint so that way I can get this to line up nice. Escape to end the command. It's nothing in particular, but let's say I want to round all of the corners of this shape. So for that, I'm going to go into the fillet tool, F, enter. I'm going to define a radius, so I'll do R, enter, and I'll give this a radius of 1. And rather than having to go into the command for every corner I want to round, I can select this multiple option or type in M, enter, and now I can do multiple fillets all in the one command. So I can go around and click on every one of the corners without having to keep coming back into the command. And you can do these outer corners as well as these inner corners. Fillet will adjust for whatever it's filling in. And then once you're done with your multiple fillets, you can hit escape to end the command. And so that is how the fillet and chamfer tools work. So there are some practices up on Canvas for you to complete, to just kind of practice using these tools on your own. Once you're done, please make sure that you are saving your work onto your flash drive and upload it to Canvas, and refer to the rubric that is attached on Canvas for how you will be graded. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.